Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly McCoy Williams, or Miss Mac. I'm one of the SFS teachers here at Rachel Carson Middle School, and I just want to take a few minutes to discuss the class with you so you'll have a really good idea when you're picking out your electives for next year. So let's pop into one of the biggest questions I always get, which is, what in the world is FSS? Is it for students that are struggling? Yeah, sure, okay. Is it for students who have all A's and B's? Yeah, for them too. Is it for students who are in the middle? Absolutely. It's for any student who wants to work on being the absolute best version of themselves that they can be. So any seventh or eighth grader is allowed to join. The class is one semester, either fall or spring, and that's one semester per 2 years. So one semester out of your seventh or eighth grade year. Okay, so now that we have those basic facts, let's go to what is the goal of this class? Is it designed to do? Support the development of executive functions. Some of us know what that means and some of us do not. So feel free to read, and then I'm going to move on and break it down a little further. This individual is trying desperately to get that little teeny ball to hit right in the middle of that racket or somewhere where they can control where the ball goes. What do they need? You know it. It's focus. It's not just in school where we need to be able to focus. It's athletics. It's walking down the street. You ever see anybody walking and looking at a phone and trip right into a fountain? Okay, they need it to focus. Focus is important, and we can train our brain to do so. You can teach your brain things that allow you to focus better. This individual is in dire need of some organization. You have so much to organize right now as a middle schooler. Your locker. Can you barely slam that locker shut because there's so many things flying around? Are you a member of the loose paper crew? You remember that? Paper's just flying all around everywhere. No paper has a home. They just hope that maybe one day they'll find out where they're supposed to be. You have your lockers, your backpacks, where you work at home. You have so many different places to organize, but it's necessary. Your whole life doesn't have to be organized, but you do need to organize the areas that are really important. So we can start with that. Basic organization. Do you know that every time you take notes, you're organizing information? So we talk about different ways to take notes, different ways to organize the information that you learn in class. Maybe it's a 2-column note. Maybe it's a 3-column notes. Maybe it's a timeline. Maybe you're the old fashioned and you do a little outlining, whatever works for you, but you need to find a system that works for you. Problem solving. There are so many different ways that we work ourselves through problems in this life. Some of us wait for other people to solve them for us. Some people dive in with 2 feet without thinking past one. Some of us use our good common sense and it leads us through. Some of us are truly creative about how we solve our problems. So the goal is practice solving problems, from little bitty riddles to higher level things, to using the information around you to draw conclusions. Working on this every day just helps you be a more amazing adult, an adult that can work their way through most things that come at them. Now, talking about time management, let's go back one step. In order to manage your time, you need to use a little planning. If you don't plan, what happens is that your time ends up managing you. So you need to take the time out to make sure that you're planning for everything. Some people have time for all kinds of sports and music listening and dancing. And oh my goodness, if it has to do with outside of school, you have all the hours in the world for it and very little time for your education. And then some are flipped. Some have all the time in the world for the education, and the rest of them is just left with no attention. Where's your fun? Where's your laughter? Where are the things that make you happy? Where are the hobbies? Where's that part of you? You need to learn how to manage your time so you are well-rounded. Now, regulation and representation. How do you represent yourself walking through the hallways? How do you represent yourself sitting in a classroom? How do you represent the people that raised you and send you to school every day and clothe and feed you and out you? How do you represent those individuals in your behaviors? How do you regulate yourself? There are social norms in society as a whole, not middle school, not Rachel Carson. There are social norms throughout society. How do you walk down the hallway? Do you walk right down the middle and slam into everybody? Or do you walk to the right so that people coming both ways have a place to walk? When you come out of the doors of the trailers, do you stay to your right? When you come in from the trailers back into the building, do you stay to the right, or do you run to the left to push past whoever's coming out the right the first chance you get? You need to regulate your behavior. You know what is supposed to be. You know what you're supposed to do. The regulation is you making yourself do it. So that's a lot of analysis, a lot of self-analysis. How do you regulate yourself as you are moving through this world? Also, one more thing about that representation. You ever worked really hard on a project and developed all this information and created slides and everything, and then you have all this cool information, but then you stand up and you watch somebody just kill it because they don't represent the information well? They are not very good presenters. They stare at the slide and read it to you, back turned to the audience. No audience engagement, no change of voice levels, no body language, no emotion in their voice. So we handle that too. We talk a lot about how to represent information when you're standing in front of class, which really turns into presentation. All righty, so here's a quick little synopsis of some of the things that we were looking at and talking about. Different things about chunking your time. You learn how to study. You learn when to use text language. When do you use it? Okay, how about never in school? And then what about how to take large projects that can overwhelm you, and break them into little doable pieces so they're not really overwhelming anymore. That's a way of managing your time, planning it out. These little things I'll do today, this one I'll do tomorrow, until you get to the point where all you have to do is edit and turn it in. Study skills. Can't talk about study skills until you go backwards and talk about what notes are you studying. Well, you can't talk about the notes you're studying, talk about how did you take the notes. Then you're talking about how did you take the notes. How do you have any notes if you were not engaged in a lesson? So it goes all the way back, and then we're always repeating and going over similar lessons so that it really makes an impact on you, and you see how they're all interrelated. What is a quick review to see what we actually do in class? There it is. We have notebooks, assignments, games, conferences, and these are some of the things that we look at. We talk about we use a diverse collection of material to discuss quotes, vocabulary, different types of people, different cultures, and we have presentations. We talk about how to be a better student in class, different types of collegiate ways to take notes. You have a ton of work to do. How do you prioritize it? Well, you use the 3Ds, presenting tips, get your eye contact, make sure you speak with an emotion, know your material, have a clear, strong voice. How do you make a good impression? Just an idea of some of the lessons that we learn. Are you needing one of these to become the best version of you that you can be? If so, great, sign up and I'll see you in SFS. If not, I know you'll find another elective that works for you. Thank you so much.